Hello, my name is Daniel Jeong. I'm 23 years of age and from the United States of America and Republic of Korea. I'm applying for the bachelor program in composition, and my preferred teacher is Professor Bram van Kamp. I haven't had much formal musical training throughout my youth, besides piano lessons, but upon deciding that I would like to pursue composition, I've discontinued my previous studies and moved to Berlin on the March of 2020. And since then, until May of this year, I've studied privately with Thomas Zizek. With him, I've studied harmony, counterpoint, just intonation, and tuning theory. And afterwards, I've studied with Dia Kalkvig. With him, I've studied audio signal processing, Max MSP, and sound synthesis. There are a number of reasons I like to continue my studies in composition at RCA. One thing being that it seems to provide students with a more comprehensive art school experience as opposed to just a musical institution. And for me, that is very important because I've always had a great appreciation for the different arts. And for me, this environment in which I could surround myself by not only different composers or musicians, but also all these young artists from different disciplines, I thought that would be a very important aspect of my overall aesthetic education. Another reason I found RCA to be a particularly attractive option was that I've already had a great experience studying in Belgium. I did spend a semester studying theology at KU Leuven, and that semester was very productive and formative, both academically but also spiritually. And so naturally, when I was looking for different schools I could potentially apply to, I did have a certain bias towards places in Belgium. All this said, of course, when considering a degree program, specifically in composition, the most important thing was the faculty itself. And of course, I've done some research. I've listened to a lot of music written by the professors. I've watched interviews and talks given by them. And I felt very confident that I could benefit not only in becoming a better composer, but in really building an artistic character from the faculty. So after completing my high school education in Germany, I moved to London. And from 2018 to 2019, I undertook a BA degree program in cultural criticism and curation at Central St. Martin's. Afterwards, I moved to Leuven to study theology and religious studies at KU Leuven, both of which I've discontinued to move to Berlin and to pursue composition. As of now, I do not intend on undertaking any other studies or occupation. However, if time allows, I would like to learn Flemish and French. I do believe the international environment, which RCA seems to promote, could greatly benefit young artists and young students. Firstly, of course, there's a greater variety of influences one could take from different inspirations from different cultures with different aesthetics, which are grounded in different ways of thinking about art, about perceiving art, but also because the world itself has become more international, and it is always important for artists to find a way to engage in broader society and engage with the world. I do believe the focus on entrepreneurship is something that could be very beneficial for young artists who are planning on starting a career in music, because, of course, the traditional path could be quite limiting. There's only a certain demand for it. So learning from a young age to creatively engage in finding new paths and solutions, I think, is highly important for every aspiring artist. The interdisciplinary context of the music program is certainly an aspect I'm most looking forward to personally. I've always had a great appreciation for theater and all the aspects of theater, everything that goes into building theatrical art, from decor to costume design, and especially I also have great passion for dance. So being in an educational environment in which I could already engage with young dancers, young choreographers, young stage designers, and costume designers is really a prospect for which I'm most excited. Musically speaking, my role models have to be the composers of the so-called French spectral school. I do find it very meaningful to ground music as a physical phenomenon in a physical actuality, not in order to diminish in any way the affection of music, but rather I think it's a way, in a sense, to transfer the phenomenological aspect of music from the musical object to the human, and this general ideal of moving away from the semantics of music and more towards the acoustics of music, the physical aspect of music, I think is very much aligned to the general spirit of our scientific age. Now, as much as I appreciate the emphasis on entrepreneurship of the music program, I personally would very much like to carry on my studies and hopefully one day become a professor myself. Um, I believe a conservatory environment in which you're constantly surrounded by music, by musicians, by artists, and in which you have an opportunity to engage with new generation of artists and students, I think could really provide me a fulfilling artistic life. Naturally, I do compose myself, and I try not to restrict myself too much when it comes to stylistic decisions. However, there are certainly commonalities between my composition attempts, one being an exploration of the overtone series and microtonality in general. They all seem to be quite static and arrhythmic in a sense. However, this is not necessarily something I aspire towards, but rather I would like to overcome through my years in education, because I do believe that it is important, in order to become a great composer, it is important to be versatile, or at least have the capability to be versatile. Now, I do like to improvise in front of the piano, but this is not necessarily as part of my compositional process, but rather a way of reinforcing what I've learned about harmony, about counterpoint. However, I do like to work quite empirically. I think it's a nice way of combining one's creative abilities as a composer with the artistic sensibility as an audience. Now, I've always had a great appreciation and passion for the different kinds of arts. Literature has certainly played a huge role in my formative years, especially that of the German Romantic period and particularly the Weimar classics. Um, I find the romantic ideal, the romantic impulse, gives a certain intensity to life that is very life affirming. Also, this outlook of viewing life as a journey in which self actualization is the ultimate goal, I think, is a generally effective way of leading a fulfilling life. Now, dance, both contemporary and classical, is an art form that is very much near to my heart. Um, while I was first starting to explore modern and contemporary music, I did suffer from a certain phase of aesthetic nihilism, um, which really engendered a certain doubt in modern aesthetics and modernity in general. And I think contemporary dance really did play a huge role in helping me reconcile the notion of modernity with the aesthetic feeling.